It's going to go one off, then case on their morality, and then a second off. Interpretation, animals defined by the Animal Kingdom violation they don't stop testing on all animals. Example, human standards. 1, education science-based resolution, science-based is the best. 1, the resolution is based on that, and 2, it has the most literature-based, giving us the most education. 2, we lose links to medical trials, dissent, politics, and spending dissents that are based on the current amount of the human testing. 3, bright line, clear line of what is and isn't an animal. Pulling one out, like human, is infinitely regressive to how many they're going to pull out in voting issue. 1 is a priority comes first. 2, prima facie must be on the face of it. 3, jurisdiction, you don't have the ability to vote for a non-topical plan, and for the reasons above. And next off is case. Unless the African fiat every nation in the world, they can't solve the question of morality. One nation isn't a fix. The brutalizing of animals will continue, and other nations and companies of people will go there. Immoral actions happen. Morality is not a basis for good policy unless ontology changes. Murder is illegal and immoral, but it still happens. Morality has the reason for policy, creates serial policy failure, and we must break the ontology war, the ontology we have now if we want morals to stand true. What is morality? The F stands up and tells you that it is moral in the common man. Morality, what it says you have to stop animal testing, but you neglect to do 2 things. 1, find an ontological basis for morality, and 2, explain the discourse of why you vote for the F morality. Without the F doing either of these things, you default neg on the questions of morality because you can't presume F morality for the F. You must step back and question the ontology. You can't have a debate about morality. You have to have the moral. You have morals without a discussion with who are we. And when that ontology is good, if the affirmative is right and the immoral to test on animals, but as a flawed ontology, then you have to vote neg. This means that no matter what other ways we can have medical trials, that if there is a bad ontology, the F still loses. Next off, security critique. Thesis 1. Ontology is the root of morality. It is who we are. It is the basis for all decisions. This critique the current ontology of politics too. To quote Anthony Burke, the nationalist ontology war is made to more rational form of strategic thought that claims the links to violent means to political ends, predictably and controllably, which combines with military action, national purpose, and common horizon and certainty. And 3, securitization and the ontology war isn't related to military alone. It is the technologization of the political that is the security. This is spread across all politics as a means to an end. Discussion. The idea that there is only one means to get to the ends that we must do this is that destruction. Must act political mentality is guaranteed to cause serial policy failure and destruction in the framework interpretation. The ballot should go to whichever team has the best ontological option. Reason to prefer. 1. Ontology precedes discourse, policy, and action without knowing why we're here and why we make decisions. We make them. We can't make any policy or any decision. 2. Ontology is the root of morality. Without the ontology, we have no concept of who are we. We have no basis for the decision of morals. Ontology creates our morality and our actions based on morality. Ontology shapes do we follow our morals. Even if something is immoral, it will still be done under a flawed ontology. 3. Understanding ontology is key to education in the world with flawed ontological option. Education decision making is impossible. 4. Fairness is arbitrary in a world constrained by limited thinking. Personal biases is infinitely regressive because everyone will have a different idea. 5. Grand is literally limitless. In the debate about ontology, there are an infinite number of ontological options and links. 1. Political action itself, the idea that this is the only way, there's the technologization of the political or calculative thought. 2, the securitization of animals, the idea that we are the ones who must act, that we have the mentality that says we must act and must protect the animals and furthermore protect them from ourselves, is the otherizing and securitizing of these animals. 3, the reason animal testing occurs and will continue to occur in other nations that the ontology war we have now is explained in the thesis. Morality might say that it is bad, but the ontology says it's okay to kill and abuse for benefit. That will always occur under the F and links to the K there. 4, morality when used as justification of policy making is just a tool to get votes when facts run dry. It is used no differently than blackmail. It is used no differently than the Iraq war vote. Vote or you're immoral and unpatriotic because you hate the troops and will allow their death. That policy cost thousands of lives and started a large-scale war and the impact of 1. No value to life. Under the F's calculation of politics strips the individual personal sovereignty. This causes the political to create economies of value that allows them to value and consequentially devalue an individual because death is the frame of reference within which these calculations operate. Any competitive devaluation of an aspect of humanity is justifiable. There's nothing abstract about this. 0 point of the Holocaust. People will wish they were dead. No value to life outweighs death. And 2, justifies war, security, utilizing, authorizing, and dominating others. Both human and animal security says they are a threat and they are something different. That they are the problem. This thinking, this authorizing demands we get rid of the other demands we kill them. War is a must under this ontology. It is known. And ontology war stopping animal testing is only guys just ruse to say that we are doing something. But that's just it. We are by saying we are doing it for them. We've already made them the other. We believe they are below us, and that's why testing was okay. Current ontology, the absent ontology makes them the other, makes them acceptable to kill them. This turns case and leads to never anymore. This is the only way to stop the war and change ontology or extinction. 3, must act political mentality, to quote Michael Dillon. The challenge to outlive the modern issue from the faltering of modern thought as much as it does the rise and spread of weapons, mass destruction, the industrialization, the ecological deposition of the planet, the genocidal dynamics, new nationalism, and the alternative. reject the F's call for morality and its flawed ontology, specifically an ontology of war, in a favor for a different ontology that rejects securitization. We must break away from an ontology that authorizes and suggests killings, to quote Michael Dillon. Opposition always arises from an extraordinarily deep and profound conservatism thought. Indeed, the conservatism thought in the respect of the modern political imagination required of the modern political subject. Reimagining politics, therefore, means thinking differently. The neg is thinking differently. The neg is where you vote. Our ontology is not flawed. You can still stop and get all the solvency of the affirmative by voting neg.